Hi there, welcome to APTA CSM in Washington, D.C. My name is Kyle Stapleton, your APTA Director of Communications of the Student Assembly Board of Directors. And here I'm joined with Heather Beaudoin. Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So like you said, I'm a third year at Northwestern. I'm graduating in April. I grew up in a small town in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I don't have any stoplights in my town. And my current interest is in people with basically who are able to change when their environment doesn't.
Awesome, awesome. And you recently wrote a Pulse blog about being nervous in physical therapy school and coping with anxiety. So can you tell our viewers a little bit about that Pulse blog that you wrote?
Sure. So it actually started, my roommate asked me to write an article for the Illinois SIGS blog. And so it wasn't going to be about anxiety. And then I had been going to counseling for a couple months and was like, screw it, no one else is talking about this. I even had done a Google search to be like, is anybody talking about mental illness and stuff in a PT school? And they weren't. So I put it out there, and it was just kind of my experiences of the symptoms that I had been experiencing and what I thought might be beneficial for others who are feeling the same.
Right, exactly. And how has coping with anxiety shaped your experiences as a student physical therapist?
In a lot of ways, it's the defining feature of my PT school experience, in that like writing that blog and then just talking with school administrators about anxiety and other things that were program-wide and what kinds of things that we could institute to help with that, and then just how I approach my interactions with patients, either who have disclosed having anxiety or mental illness, or just in general people who are seeking to be well.
Exactly. That's a very well said response. You know, for all the students out there who may be experiencing anxiety, what would one thing you would suggest to them? What would it be?
So I can't pick one because I always have lists and I'm very indecisive. So I guess my top three would be: one, work on increasing your tolerance of uncertainty. So I think a lot of people with anxiety, we like to know things that are fact, and we like to have things be certain, and we like to know all the parameters, like in a practical, if you could just tell me, is the patient going to see this, or do I need to do this? And in the real life, you're never going to know all the factors. So working on improving your tolerance of uncertainty is huge. The second thing I think is having some positivity partners in PT school. So having that cadre of friends that you can have build you up when you're feeling nervous before a practical or not quite sure what's going on throughout the trimester or on clinical. And then my third thing is just like establishing a growth mindset, which I don't know if you know what the Level Up initiative is.
No, tell us more about it.
Okay, so it's this free community established by some PTs who are looking to elevate the profession, but they have a mentorship program. You can apply for a cohort twice a year, but they're focusing on kind of seeing patients through a biopsychosocial model and how to improve communication through that way. So they're really focused on communication, growth mindset, and just seeing people as a whole person. But I think growth mindset has been huge, and kind of just realizing, you don't need to get everything on the first try, and the point is to keep showing up.
That's fantastic, and that really is the key thing. Key thing is to keep showing up. Whatever you're doing, you just keep showing up.
Yep.
And keep chugging along.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's our pleasure, and we'll be right back.